Bigfoot's walking down right now.
All right, everybody, what is going on? And welcome back to another exciting episode of Bigfoot, The Truth Told. Now, today we are discussing a topic that some people might not disagree with. We might get some flack for this, but in all, it needs to be said and it needs to be talked about. And in no way, shape, or form are we ever playing anybody down. We're just speaking our opinion and speaking our minds when it comes to certain things. Now, you guys will see here I have the Fair Use Disclaimer Act up and shown. Those of you who might see this and might want to take this down, I'm telling you that's not happening. We have a right to talk about what we're talking about tonight. We have a right to discuss, and it is not for you to take away from us, and it's not for you to try to take down because some people might not appreciate or understand the commentary or get mad. So with that being said, I am leaving this up here to be shown and to be seen. I wish somebody would try to make me take this video down because it wouldn't end up well for you, legally speaking. Because legally, I have every right to do what we are doing this evening or today, which is discuss a topic. And anybody who feels like, discussing a topic is no longer an option, well, don't live in America. Don't allow things to be spread throughout America, because in America, that's what we do. So, with that being said, I'll get into tonight's conversation. I have with me tonight Rich Daniels and Denver Michaels, and we are going to discuss this topic. So, without further ado, I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of this show. All right, everybody, welcome back. Like I said previously, when I had my little rant over there, I am here, and we are joined tonight by Denver Michaels and Rich Daniels. Denver, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem, sir. It's always a pleasure to get you on here. And then, of course, we have, as usual, Rich Daniels. How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Corey. And I'm hoping you're doing well as well. It's you've had a rough stretch here.
Yeah, the damn flu virus took me over, and I really felt it today a little bit, but I was supposed to get better. But hey, we're not here about the flu, because the flu is least of our concerns. The flu has nothing to do with about finding the truth on Bigfoot. No, our truth here today, ladies and gentlemen, is to go over what is going on with this whole Todd standing thing. I know some of you are going to cringe at this, and some of you are going to, why are you doing this? Why are you attacking, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I just want to say nobody's attacking anybody. It's not what we're here to do. Myself, Denver, and Rich, our priority to the cryptid community is to make sure that the truth is out there and the truth is revealed. That's what my channel is all about, the truth told, as you all know. So when it comes to the whole Todd standing thing and what he's trying to do, as far as using it as evidence to take into court, I get where his heart's at, but the way he might be going about it, to me, is not the right way, and it's something that needs to be talked about. And how he is going after people who are criticizing his work and who are, trying to share their ideas on it or trying to communicate just as we are. He's reaching out to them and he's telling them, take it down, do this, suing here, suing there. And we're going to talk about that because, like I said earlier, there's a reason why I think he's doing that. There's a reason why we think he's doing that. And we need to get to the bottom of that. So Rich and Denver, whichever one of you would like to speak first, tell us, let's inform people why we're here this evening. What is this issue? First of all, if you do not know who Todd Standing is, he is this filmmaker and this researcher who's claimed to have these picture perfect images. He has this movie out and he is trying to go to the government with this. So if one of you two will explain what Todd's trying to do, and then we'll get into the meat of why we're exactly here this evening.
Well, everything that I've read on it and everything I've seen on it is that he has made, a couple years back, I guess he put up a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe account trying to get a documentary financed. And at the time, I believe the amount of money he was looking for was $900,000. And from, after that, I mean, that died down very quickly. You didn't hear much about it. And then it came about that he was putting out a documentary called Discovering Bigfoot. And in conjunction with that, what he's doing is filing cases in federal courts, both in Canada and in California, to make those governments reveal what they know about the creature and what they know about, and have it declared a endangered species. That's the gist of what I've gotten from it all. And the thing about his documentary and where, the issue that it's causing these days is that he intends to use that documentary as evidence in these court cases. And that's where the complications really begin. Because what, some people have already experienced, and it may yet happen, is that he and his production company, which is a small company out of San Francisco, I believe, are pressuring and contacting people and pressuring YouTube to have any negative reviews of this documentary stricken, have them pulled, and to the point where there people that have had these channels that have reviewed Discovering Bigfoot negatively have been contacted and said that basically a cease and desist. I don't know if that's exactly what's been done, but basically been told to strike that and take those reviews down. And their YouTube accounts have been have had a strike put against them. Which, as you know, Corey, I mean, a YouTube account gets 3 strikes on it, they take the channel off completely, and you can't operate with them anymore. So it's a very serious thing that is being thrown out there by Todd Standing and his production company, and it's causing some real problems for some researchers and some folks that are doing some good work as far as getting the word out about the subject.
That's exactly right. And what I did at the beginning of this video, or what I will do, is I'm going to that copyright Fair Use Act or law is going to be placed there. And like I said, what we're doing right now falls under fair use, falls under that whole thing. And what he's doing, taking his when people take his images or people take his videos and they break it down, or they take his movie and they talk about his movie. I've heard people who are even just talking about the movie, showing nothing, only talking, and they're getting little letters from him saying, hey, you need to take this down because you're not talking about it the way I need to talk about it, the way I need it to be talked about. Well, first of all, I didn't know, right, that there was this whole who does he think he is to come at somebody and say, hey, you're being a bad boy, don't talk about my stuff like that. First of all, there's no room for you to do that, because unfortunately, especially when you're dealing with American YouTubers and American law, and this is what we're allowed to do. This is our job, to criticize, to critique, to go out here to find the truths in things. And if somebody watches your film and they don't agree with something, they have every right to talk about it, especially if they're not showing images. That's the first and foremost. Secondly, when it comes to showing images, now, when it comes under this Fair Use, Fair Act, or whatever the hell, these people who are getting these strikes thrown at their channel because he is reaching out to them and saying, taking it down, and then YouTube is striking their channels, that hurts people's channels, okay? Some people put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this, and for him to just do that because they don't like the way he doesn't like the way somebody's going about it, first of all, that's fucked up. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Just as you think your movie is your good ass work that you've been putting your time into, people's YouTube channels, that they put their time into it, like me. like DDoS, like Crypto PT, like all these people that I know and I really have become friends with. YouTube is not just this little side thing they do. We really put our all into it. And for somebody to just like Matt Squatch Presents, he posted something and then he was told to take it down. Stuff like that. Let's get into why he would want you to take it down. First of all, let's get into why he can't take it down, right? So if something is real, if this piece of video evidence is real, it's tangible, it happens to be real life, if these Bigfoot that he's claiming to have captured on film are indeed real, if somebody were to take that and analyze that video and not monetize it, they have every right to do so. Only if those images are not real, that he fabricated these images, he hired actors or he did whatever he had to do, animation, whatever, only then at that point does he own exactly the full rights to that. And then therefore he can do what he wants to do. So my whole thing with this is, if these images are real, why are they being taken down all over the internet? Why is he copywriting people? Why is he telling them, take it down, don't talk bad, don't talk about it at all? I know he wants to use it as evidence, but when it comes down to it, if these are real images, people have the right to do so, to critique them, and not to get copyright strikes. That's what I'm talking about, copyright strikes. It can only be copyrighted if it's not actual, if it's not true, real. You can copyright your video, yes, your logo, whatever. You can't copyright a Bigfoot. Are you kidding me? That's what I'm going to say about that. If you guys have anything to tune in, that's just it. It boggles my mind a little bit on that whole copyright strike, and him being a little baby when it comes to people talking about his work. People talk about everything. It's the world we live in today. People talk, people criticize, people critique, and sometimes that's their job. And sometimes things need to be critiqued, especially when it comes down to such accusations that he is claiming, him saying, hey, I have legitimate Bigfoot evidence. You don't think people are going to dig their hands into that and want to get a piece of that and want to see, hey, maybe this is real, maybe this is not real? You're putting such claims out there like that. You can't control everybody, but yeah, he's trying to control it. Why? That's what I'm asking. Why? Any of you want to help me out?
Well, I mean, I think I think the why is just like you said. These aren't real images. I mean, that's just what I think. I've watched the movie, and if he intends to use this movie as evidence in his court case, well, that just shows you how frivolous these lawsuits are, because there was nothing in those movies that couldn't have easily been hoaxed. I have a lot of problems with the court cases. I mean, which we can get into later. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Is the images, they're not real to begin with.
Yeah, and and I think the reason why he's going after people, like Denver said, he is intending to use that documentary as evidence in these court cases, both in Canada and in California. And what it seems to be happening, I mean, I can only speculate, to be honest, but what seems to be happening is that he's trying to eliminate as much doubt about the evidence that he's going to present as possible. Any negative critiques of his documentary could, in the eyes of whoever has to decide the case, whether it be a jury, whether it be a judge, it could taint that evidence. And I really think he's trying to protect that evidence for these court cases, and that's what it's all about.
And when it comes to these court cases and it comes to this whole evidence thing, first of all, he doesn't want people tainting it or people commenting on it. Everyone has the right to do so. They damn sure do, and I hold strong to that. And also, why would he this is what really gets me. Why would he put out a whole documentary, make this whole elaborate documentary and put this out, and then want to use that as evidence and then have a problem when people are supposedly, tainting the evidence or saying anything bad about it. If he really wanted to use it in court and really wanted to do this, he wouldn't have released it. He wouldn't have tried to make money off of it. He wouldn't have tried to do all these things because real evidence would not have been leaked. When it's something real and this big, nothing gets leaked. And I think when he gets to court, they're going to throw it out the window regardless if it's real, regardless if it's fake, because they're like, you're going to give me a documentary, a movie? You're going to bring me this whole movie? No. We can't use that in the court of law. They're not going to be able to use it regardless. Denver, I know you know a little bit more about the lawsuits and, maybe the court cases and actions that's going down. What do you got? What's your insight on that?
Well, I mean, to me, I just, before the movie even came out, I had a pretty negative, or came out on Netflix, I should say. I think it had been out for a while, but the next Netflix premiere, I think, was in December. And if I've got my dates right, the first lawsuit was filed in British Columbia, and I believe that was in October. I don't know exactly when. So just right off the bat, he's filing a lawsuit, 2 months before the Netflix premiere. Well, I mean, to me, that is, whether he intends to use it as evidence or whatever, he's trying to make money off of this, and to me, he's using the courts for publicity. So even if let's pretend the footage is real. Let's just pretend you're using the courts to promote your movie. I mean that's unethical, and it just blows my mind that that somebody would have the audacity to do that. I mean, a lot of people are interested in these lawsuits, and I mean, there are people that that disagree with me, and think maybe some good could come out of that and stuff. But I just don't think the courts is the the place to settle the Bigfoot debate. I mean, it's my opinion that if you feel like you need to take your evidence to court, I think we just need better evidence. I mean, real evidence is going to stand or fall on its own without, pulling the judiciary into it. I mean, I just, I'm just really bothered by, by him filing these lawsuits in court, and then, yeah, coming down here into the States and doing it too. It's just, it just doesn't pass the smell test for me.
And here's where I think all this has led up to, when it comes to my mind and exactly what this is. This is what my critical thinking has brought me to this conclusion. I could be wrong. Of course, you always have the chance to be wrong, but this is just what it smells like. And if it tastes like water, looks like water, it's water. I think this man wanted to create a film. He has a passion for Bigfoot. I don't doubt that. Nobody goes this deep into anything unless they truly have a passion for it. I believe that maybe he has had a couple encounters. I do believe he's seen some of these creatures. I believe some of his earlier videos that he has put out, like the one of the thing walking up the mountain and shit, I believe that's a real video. So what I'm trying to get at is I believe, he has a passion for this. I believe he really wants this to be, proven. So he would go as far to the extent as he knows they're real. He's seen them. He's going to fake it, make these films, make this film. At the end of the day, he's like, fuck, man. It's either one or two things. He wanted to make this film so he can make a lot of money, which he has done. And he's using this whole court system, this whole court debate to promote this film and to push it out in whichever way. And he's made a lot of money. I've stalked his stuff. I've looked through his things. I looked at the people who are going around. He has lots and lots of supporters, a lot of blind people, just following. They're all sheep. So he could have done it that way. He said, hey, I want to make a lot of money, so let me do this. Or two, he does indeed want to prove the existence of Bigfoot. And the only way to do it, he thinks, because he doesn't have the technology or doesn't have the time, or he's just like everybody else, they're so elusive that he's going to fake something in order to push it out. That's one of my two options. Option one, he's doing this for a shit ton of money, which he has made. Whether or not he's using that in court or to help pay for these things, I highly doubt it, first of all. Second of all, so one, it's either money, or two, he does indeed want to prove the existence of Bigfoot, but he's having a hard time doing it just like the rest of us are. So he's hoaxing crazy just to prove a point and just so he can say he is that guy. He is the one who finally proved Bigfoot. That's what he's doing it for.
And that's my take that has always been on the guy. If you listen to him talk, if you read the stuff that he puts out there, the guy understands the subject. He knows his stuff, and there's no doubt about that. He can talk the subject with anybody all day long. The thing that's impressed upon me has been that he has this zeal to be that guy, the one to be, to be that one guy who is credited with proving the existence of the species. And it seems like that zeal has led him to some pretty dubious choices, because there's a lot of doubt as to, some of the stuff that he's brought forward. We talk about what people are starting to call the Muppet photos. And those are the ones where it's just a headshot of up close of a creature that he claims it's a creature that he got to stand still for him somehow and was able to take a picture of. But the camera never moves. The camera is obviously fixed. And why it was, why this thing would let him sit there and set up a tripod and have everything nice and steady and pretty, I don't know. And then there's some speculation that maybe he computer animated, over his own face to be able to create those. And again, that's been some critiques he's had before. That's some speculation that's been out there. It's been out there for a long time, almost right since those photos came out. But there have been other instances where he's made some very big claims, and what he produces as evidence for those claims doesn't go out and prove it at all. And to be honest with you, I've always had that view. It's like, man, if this guy would just do research, if he would just do that, he'd be great, because he knows his stuff. There's no two ways about that. But he's put himself in too many, difficult spots when it comes to having, those claims reviewed, that makes it very difficult to buy what he's saying.
And I would agree on that. Do we know who he's affiliated with? Denver or Rich? Do we know, some of his, or is he closely tied to known hoaxers in the past? Is he closely tied to these bigger people at all? Do we know?
Not to my knowledge. Denver, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about his past. To be honest with you, I knew a little of him, and like you're saying, some kind of dubious stuff. But as far as really knowing a whole lot about who he's affiliated with, those kind of things, I'm really wouldn't have any information on that.
Well, one thing I know that he is kind of notorious for is he was featured on Finding Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
That footage you were talking about, Corey, about the footage where the creature stands up and walks, up above, and it's from a ridge line above. And the Finding Bigfoot people came there, and he refused to take them to that location. Said that, for whatever reason, I can't remember his reasoning for it, but he took them to a location that was similar in geography, to it. It's for them to be able to film the segment. And again, here he says, I've got this video, and I've got this video of this creature, and here it is, but I'm not going to take you where it was. And regardless of whether that video is authentic or not, it's going to cast a doubt on it. And it's choices like that which the man has made that has people doubting him.
Right. And when it comes to that clearly is a poor move and a poor decision on his end. But what I will also say, him teaming up with Les Stroud, I think that's a smart move for anybody, first of all, because Les's reach and his platform is beyond ridiculous. His platform reaches everybody, not just Bigfoot believers. So that's a smart move on that end. But is he doing that again for the promotion of his work to get more money? So is it a money play, or is he doing it because, Les has a heart for this too, apparently, and they want to team up and do this. So that whole Les Strauss move was a good move on anybody's part, but the reasonings behind that particular move, what's behind it? So, like I said, it's, to me, who knows? Denver, you have something to say? I heard your mic's chiming in.
Yeah. I mean, it's well, like you're saying there. I mean, it's probably a little bit of column A, probably a little bit of column B. But I mean, the guy is obviously he's into and whether he's into the money aspect of this or if it's just fame. A lot of people don't really care that much about money, but they just want to be the guy. I get the sense with him, but I do think that. He's trying to make money too, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that if you're doing it ethically. Another thing I'd like to point out real quick is with these lawsuits, it's not just his movie that's getting exposure. I posted a quote either. I don't remember if it was on Twitter or Facebook, maybe both. But one of the articles I was reading, this was the one I guess right before it filed down here down in California, where he was talking to a reporter, and he's like, "Oh, if you don't believe in Sasquatch, just come out on an expedition with me, and I'll prove to you it's real." Well, so that's the thing. It's not like he's not promoting other things. He actually takes people out on expeditions for $4,800 a person. So there's a lot of money that he makes, doing those kind of things too. And again, there's nothing wrong. Everybody should make as much money as they can. That's fine.
You're telling me I can pay $4,800. He'll take me out into his woods in BC, Canada, or whatever he's at, and show me a Bigfoot, but I got to pay $5,000.
Well, that's on the website. God, I don't have it in front of me. It starts with an S. That group. That's anyway. I'd have to look it up. But I posted a screenshot on Facebook and Twitter, and so it says that he limits the expeditions to 3 people. So that's 4,800 times 3, for an expedition. I can't remember how many days they go out or whatever, and he does this, x amount of times a year. So, that's pretty good coin you're making right there. And so you got to wonder. I mean, if somebody's charging that kind of money, for these expeditions, if there isn't something shady going on with the expeditions themselves, right? Because if I pay $5,000 to go on a Bigfoot expedition and I don't see anything, you know what I'm saying, or don't at least see some really good evidence. So, maybe that's all legit and that's fine. What I'm really pointing out is he's using the courts to promote his movie, to promote his expeditions business. That's unethical. So if you're unethical in the way you're promoting things, then I have to assume that, some of the stuff you're doing might be shady as well.
And with that being said, I feel like this will be a good stopping point, because I know we wanted to get into it, but again, I wanted to keep this a little short so people would actually listen and go through the whole way through without passing any judgment, because there are going to be people who listen to the first half of this and they're going to be like, man, fuck these guys, and they're not going to listen to the rest of this. So I want to make this a sweet letter, a simple, nicely written letter to Todd and to everybody who supports and all those people. Like, listen, what he's doing when it comes down to the copywriting and telling people to remove or telling people don't talk bad about his thing, stop being a baby. People have the right to do so, so let them do it. Now, if you're doing this for money, whatever, you're doing this because you want to be that guy, whatever, just leave people alone in your efforts in trying to prove something, even if it's for yourself. Just leave people alone. That's what it comes down to. Rich, Daniels, Denver, you guys have any closing remarks on this? Go ahead and speak your mind now before we go on and get out of here.
Well, I let you guys in on this before the show, and I'll tell everybody else now. I appeared on another online show a few weeks ago, and I was offered the opportunity. Or I got off of that show, and then a young lady contacted me after that, the day after, and she claimed to have ties to Todd Standing and his efforts that were going to happen in California. And she approached me about this is online. She approached me about possibly being a witness that would testify in their California case. And at the time, I didn't really think too deeply into it. I didn't have to. I let her know right away that that was not something that I wanted to connect myself with, and why. And it was because of my feelings about him. And she was very nice about it. Very nice. Very, she totally understanding of it. She said she understood how some people might feel about him, and that there's always a mixed bag when it comes to his reputation. And after thinking about it a little bit more, in reflecting on the kind of work that I'm doing now, which is the emotional responses people have to cryptid encounters and things like that, and the fact that my research is based very firmly in established science when it comes to mental behavioral health science. And, I thought that, perhaps that kind of testimony, perhaps that kind of approach would play better in court in their minds. They thought it might work better. And, it seems to me that these folks are very serious about it, and they believe in what they're doing, and they're looking for every possible angle and every possible bit of information that they can put out there to do it. And when somebody believes that deeply in it, it's you have to tip your hat to them. I don't know that they're going about it the right way. I don't know that they've got everything that they think they have, but you know we all have to make our choices, is my point here. We all have to decide what we're going to be able to not only produce for ourselves, but who we're going to be able to associate with as far as what's going on in the Bigfoot world, in the research community. And that was something that it was very unexpected for me, because personally I don't take myself all that seriously when it comes to my work and everything that I accomplish. I mean, I work hard at it, and I hope it's I do everything I can to make it good work. But it's not something that I really considered as being significant when it comes to the work that I do. But these folks are working really hard. They're working every angle they have, and unfortunately, it seems that with the ultra protective stance they've taken on the documentary, it's affecting a lot of people negatively now.
Yeah. So just don't. I don't know if there's another way to put this or make it easier on people. Look, I'm not saying that Todd's a bad guy. I'm not saying, oh, this dude's the devil. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we see what he's trying to do. He's either A, trying to do it for money, or B, he's trying to do it because he's trying to be that guy. He wants to be the one who proves Bigfoot is real. And if he has to lie about it, and if he has to go out there and hoax about it, that's what he's going to do. And there's no stopping him. But for him to use it in court and for him to, want to do all these things and to use this film, blah, 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 there's a right and there's a wrong way to do things. People like me, you, me, Rich, Denver, we're not going to go that route. Someone like Todd may be going that route. Like I said, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying the way he's going about things is probably just not the best way. I'm just going to say that it's probably not the best way because what he's doing, copywriting people, telling them don't talk bad, don't do this, trying to control every little thing. It makes him look bad. Right? He keeps doing these things. So it's kind of pushing everybody to be like, all right, maybe he's just trying to do this for the money. Or all right, maybe he is wanting to try to be that guy and this shit's fake. So why is he going hard on the community like this? If he loves this community so much and he's doing all of this for the community, why does he keep aggravating the community? Stop aggravating. Stop doing these things to the community who supports you. So like I said, you're either fake or you're real. Everybody knows where we stand on the whole thing. Denver, if you have any closing comments, we'll close up. And if not, we'll just get on out of here.
Yeah, in closing, I would just say that that this stuff it doesn't belong in court. Mark my words, this is going to make us all look bad. All of us that believe in this, that work at this, it's going to make us all look bad. And this stuff just doesn't belong in courts. Courts are not there to promote movies. They're not there to promote your research. Yeah, that's pretty much where I would leave it.
Right. So that being said, Todd, if you ever happen to listen to this, we're not saying you're a bad guy. We're just saying maybe this is not the right way to go about things. And also leave people the fuck alone because you're not doing that. And it really pisses me off. Rich is laughing. It's really pissing me the fuck off. And two, if you go about this and the courts prove that you're real or this evidence is not good enough, you're just going to make us look more of like we're playing childish games over here. You might make the community look even more crazy than people already think they are. So there's some things that you're doing. I wish you would not do it in the way that you are doing it. Because if it does backfire and it does backlash, we're going to take the hit. And then we're going to have to regrow everything that we've been growing. We have people finally coming out and talking about this shit. We have other people who aren't believers who are finally being, yeah, you could be right. Who am I to say? But years ago, just not even 10, 20 years ago, people weren't doing that. They weren't saying, hey, you could be right. They were just calling us crazy. We're now finally out of the crazy stage because they're starting to see shit. So we're finally getting out of that. But if you backfire on what you're doing, it's all going to go down the drain. But
that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point because ultimately we're all in this, for the same reason. We're all in this, we're not locked arm in arm or anything, but we're all in this together. And what reflects on one can easily reflect on the rest of us. So that's an excellent point, Denver.
Right. So here's what it is. Stop fucking with people. If it's real, go ahead, do your thing. If it's not, now would be the time to stop because it's not right to do so. You're going to make us look bad. And then all the shit that we've been fighting for is going to go down the drain. And then when somebody does come across and has some real tangible evidence and they try to take it to the court is not going to take them serious because of your fake shit that you're bringing out. Also, if just by chance you do happen to be really right and we're all fucking stupid and this is really true, then foot's up our ass. You're right. We're wrong. You got the courts to pass this. Hallelujah. Good for you. Then we'll look like the dumbasses. But from where we're sitting now, that's not the case. So I'm going to go ahead and end this and saying, we don't think you're a bad guy. I just think what you're doing and the way you're doing it makes you the bad guy. So with that being said, Denver and Rich, thank you guys for coming on this evening. Everybody who is listening to this podcast and YouTube and stuff so far, I just want to say thank you guys for your constant support. We are now at 700 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you all for that. That's a big accomplishment to me, and I know it may not be a lot, but I still thank you guys for doing that. And always, if you guys would like to follow us on Facebook, Bigfoot the Truth Told, and go ahead and get into our private Facebook page if you really want to know what's going on there. We got Rich in there. I'm going to actually invite Denver to that. So we'll have some real deal people, some real deal researchers in there, talking to you guys, and I'm trying to grow that. But Bigfoot the Truth Told on Facebook. Denver, where can everybody reach you at, bud?
Yeah, my website, www.denvermichaels.net. I'm also on Facebook. My page, just look up author Denver Michaels, and I'm on Twitter as well.
That's right. We've had him on here before. You guys have all heard of him. We're going to get him on here again. Rich, how do you want people to get in contact with you if they have any encounters? They may not necessarily want to come on, a show and share their story, but they might want to talk to somebody who has experience talking and helping people through their experience. Where can they get you at?
Absolutely. Just look me up on Facebook, Rich Daniels, and pretty easy to find there. A lot of people have found me that way. I sponsor a private group on Facebook called the Crypto Encounter Group, where folks that have had these experiences and had negative effects from them can come on there and get some support and get some help and be able to deal with these situations and deal with these emotional turbulence that they get from it in positive ways. And actually, one feature we got on there, I got a fellow who's helping me out on that site, and he's actually started to do some Skyping with some of the witnesses that we've had on there, and we're starting to get a very positive response from that. And so we're doing everything we can, what we can for people at the Crypto Encounter Group, and that's just for witnesses who have had negative effects and who are trying to struggle with it and trying to come to terms with it. And look me up, Rich Daniels on Facebook or the Crypto Encounter Group. Either way, we'll be able to get in touch.
There you guys go. So now you can either reach out to Denver or you can reach out to Rich. And of course, you always know how to get to me. If you guys would like to call in, leave a voicemail at any point, you guys can go ahead and do so, or send an email if you guys have an encounter you'd like to be on. But again, this is our little talk and our little letter to Todd Standing. So I hope you guys enjoy another exciting episode of Bigfoot, the Truth Told.